Hi there. My name is Tara Johnston, and this is for my leadership studies class. Our discussion video on what basically the course has taught us personally and how we've learned from it and how we've grown from it. So I'm doing this completely unscripted. I don't have anything to read off of. I'm just free flowing with it and going with my heart. And I might just pop up the screen to the actual course, just kind of get a few highlights of it. So it's really funny because actually going through this course, a lot of the modules were directly related or in sync with something I was actually dealing with at that current point of my life, or something that I can directly apply to either a relationship or a situation, or mostly something within myself. I absolutely grew a lot and took a lot from this course and used it as a lot of self growth and development within myself. I really feel that it will help me be a more effective and more confident trainer for sure, um, as well as uh, more prepared. I was very scared going to personal training, especially when you're dealing one-on-one with clients and understanding how to meet other people's needs. And sometimes it is a little more easy to understand biomechanics and what workouts will help do what, but knowing how to actually interact one-on-one with a person is quite a bit different. And I've actually taken a lot of these tools and made it a self-aware practice to apply them to specific people and situations, and it's actually quite neat to see how effective they really were. um, for example, when we did 7 habits of highly effective people, the two that I picked that really were a direct kind of in sync with what I was going through. And it's funny because a lot of discussions that we do, a lot of the times you become your own teacher, and actually what you're saying, it's like when you're giving somebody advice, sometimes you're actually giving yourself that advice. uh, so sorry, the 2 habits was to be productive. So I do consider myself a very mindful person, and being proactive and taking responsibility in my life is really important to me, as well as sharpening the saw. So this is actually within the last few months I've had a lot going on. I really recently got out of a very serious relationship, um, decided to make a huge move, and deciding to move to Kelowna. No specific reason, no job, no work. Is I love Edmonton. It's been a great city. I've met a lot of amazing people here. I have a very strong support system here. Uh, but as I went through these modules, I realized how much power I actually have, and how I want to step more into that leader role, not for other people, but actually for myself. And so doing this move is completely for myself. It's where I feel I need to be. It's where I want to experience new things and meet new people. And, that's the greatest thing about life is we're never stuck in one place. We're only stuck where we allow ourselves to be. So this move to BC, and how it's sharpening the saw, and creating that expansion in my life, and creating balance so that, and creating balance. And sometimes to create that balance, it takes elimination of something, or adjustment, or allowance. And that's pretty much just what I'm wanting to do right now with my life. And another great module that we went through was was guided through conflict, was actually in the very deep part of my breakup. And for the scarf, I actually chose to talk about divorce and breakups. And it was really interesting to kind of see, like, the status, the certainty, um, the relatedness, and the fairness perspectives of that. And it really helped me understand the dynamic, like kind of like stepping out of the relationship and looking back into it. And the one that I chose to be the biggest influence on going through a breakup is the fairness, and where it can be difficult sometimes to hear each other out and to listen with open hearts. And I'm not sure exactly which module that we went through, but it talked about what are some of the characteristics that you need work on, and listening is actually a huge thing, a characteristic that I lack in. And it's not that I don't listen, it's really just shutting my mind off and listening to what someone's telling me. Sometimes it's hard not to read into the emotions or the tone of what someone's saying and actually miss the message of what they're trying to say. So I picked up on that, on what is a characteristic that I'm the least lacking in as a leader, and I actually applied it, and it made an absolutely huge difference with the balance of that breakup, where it was very rough and very on the rocks, and um, to coming down to a situation where we just sat down and I didn't talk. I just listened, and seeing how my partner at that time responded was a complete shift. And it's amazing to be able to apply this to conflicts, and just to really close out your ego and just really listen to what people are trying to say. And it's amazing how you can actually break down people's walls by this, where if even with my brother, who's recently going through a drug problem, and just actually listening to him, and instead of telling him what he needs to do or what I think is best for him, and just saying, what do you feel is best, or like, how can we make this better together? And it just completely shifted the conversation itself. And I think this can really be applied to personal training when you have clients who are struggling internally with themselves, and they may get snappy at you or mad at you or say that you're a bad trainer, but realizing that it's not necessarily you, that they're more projecting something within themselves, and just being able to really listen and be attuned with what people are actually meaning and saying, I think is a really, really critical tool to be a personal trainer, and definitely something that I learned within this course. Another was when we wrote down some of our values. I actually that came probably one of the most perfect timing to do this assignment. It was, like I said, I had a lot going on. My mom has been in the hospital, the breakup, move, financial problems, my brother, and all of these other crazy things going on. And it's really hard to get stuck and really stuck in what's actually happening. And that assignment actually, I found it so empowering at the time, because it really made me shift my focus on my values and what's actually good in my life. And I just took it and ran. And I would really, really recommend people continuing to write down their values and going through like the 5 things that you're committed to all the time, and what you're doing right now to use your full potential to achieving those values and achieving those goals that you want for yourself, no matter what chaos or crazy things that are going on in your life. There's so many great opportunities to grow from suffering. It's part of being like the servant leader, where if you get consumed in what's actually happening and in the struggle, then you can get stuck in that, rather than pulling yourself out and being, how can I step into this? How can I conquer this? How can I defeat this? And you really find a true strength and power in yourself that most people don't know that they have, but it's absolutely there. Another great one was the very last assignment, or sorry, the very last module that we did was realizing change and how we resist so much change. And this again is exactly related to what was going on, in my life, and how I was resisting and seeing the bigger picture. And then the one assignment was wanting to make changes that Nicole recommended that we do. It wasn't for marks, it was just a fun thing to do, with a video from Kyle Cease. And it's amazing that she posted the video about Kyle Cease, because I have been listening to a lot of his videos. And if you haven't, I highly recommend you do. It's really, really powerful to watch his videos, and realizing it's not how you make the change happen, it's why. And when you know the why, you can succeed. I hope this video was good, and I look forward to hearing your guys' comments about it. I really look forward to watching your guys' videos as well. Thank you so much.